Hello, Ryan here, and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all of the news from the week just past. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get on with it. This week on Star Citizen Sunday, Alpha 3.13 opens up to everyone, but it is still on the PTU. We hear about all things audio on this week's Star Citizen Live, plus we get word on this year's CitizenCon. So this week's Star Citizen Live was with the audio team, with the first question being, are we expecting to get ship-wide alerts? Now they say as the ships have these dynamic systems that create cause and effect, the audio team need these systems working first before they can create this. But a full PA system is fully intended that will hook up to these systems and provide feedback for the pilot and crew. They are getting closer to this and they have the base tech working, but of course getting it in all the ships will take some time, and the tech is in its early phases right now, but that is the direction that they are going in. It will be so great when you can put out a ship-wide announcement or even just contact individual rooms like requesting engineering from the bridge and so on. Next question, ray tracing for audio, are there any updates? Now they say they are currently working on these additions to the room system, not necessarily just for audio, but a system that can be utilized by many other teams as well. This system will determine how audio propagates through a room or through multiple rooms, or even how AI navigate through a room. So although it's not specifically audio, it will have a heavy effect with audio. Are there any updates for surround sound integration is the next question, and they say right now they are exploring specializations so we can take advantage of this, but the current WWise version that they use doesn't allow it, but once they've upgraded to the most recent version of WWise, then it will be further explored. They are also focusing on attenuating sounds, so things sounding differently depending on where you are relative to that sound. So basically you'll be able to pinpoint a sound better, which is ideally needed for this game with having 6 degrees of freedom. Anyway, for the next question, will there be NPC radio chatter? So hearing other NPC pilots, maybe talking to the air traffic controller guys that we will be able to overhear. Now they said the idea is to have other channels, like open channels that you can listen in on, but this will take a bit of time to get done. They want that feeling of life around landing zones, so this is all kind of planned. But they have a goal to create a dynamic Walla system as well, so Walla being the background noise of a location that changes based on players' actions, the economy of that location, and so on. Plus having NPC conversations that feel natural and realistic, not like your typical AI conversations. So there are major plans to improve the whole soundscape of environments, and they are trying to achieve more of this with Orison, so do expect some improvements in 3.14. Next question is, have you started exploring creature sounds? Now they have early concepts that they are looking at, but they have not yet dug into it. The first creature that they will create sounds for will be the space whale, but they still need to know more about the creatures to determine what noises they will have to create. So for example, their mating sounds, or if they attack you or they get aggressive, how will they sound, and so on. So I guess they'll need to sync up with the narrative team first. Next question is, can I play music for my crew on a ship? Now, adding a music player to the ships shouldn't be a huge thing to create. We have had jukeboxes as a flair item for the hangar, but they have to be very careful about copyright reasons. The jukebox allows you to play client-side music so no one else can hear it because you cannot broadcast that music live. But a similar question came up regarding the in-law bands of Star Citizen and whether we will hear fictional tracks from these, like Gutter Wash, for example. Now they said this would require working again with the narrative and lore team. They would need to establish what music would sound like 900 years into the future, but I will say that I fully expect CIG to create music for each band when the time is right. Of course, obviously priorities for this are way down the line, but I would also think that many backers who make music would be up for allowing their music to be broadcast throughout the game. So I guess real life music, no, but I do think there will be CIG's own and non-copyright music options one day. Next question, what challenges are there working on Pyro's audio compared to Stanton? Now they say Pyro massively looks and feels different to Stanton, and they will have a lot of fun figuring all of this out. The The tech and tools have grown, so the ability to create sounds has greatly improved. Also, music from the composer Pedro Camacho will give a much distinct feel as well. I'm very much looking forward to seeing or feeling how different Pyro is. It's going to be interesting. Next question, is Crusader getting different sounds to the normal planets with it being a gas giant? Now, they said that wind will be a hero characteristic of Crusader and Orison, and they are crafting it to sound unique to these locations compared to other wind audio found throughout the verse. Crusader as a gas giant will create some atmospheric pressures on the ships as well, which will be signified heavily by the audio team. So as you maybe try and go through the clouds of Crusader and get a bit too close down to the planet, you will hear your ship clanging and clanking a bit like a submarine as the pressure builds up. Next question, VoIP or voice over IP is unreliable. When will it get some more love? Now, they say that they have done a lot of work on VoIP, which will be in 3.13, and they are very confident that the stability is way better, and if there are any issues with it, they will jump on it ASAP, as they want people using it, and they've spent a lot of time improving it. I really hope that this is the case. I would love to be able to use VoIP and have no issues, and it just work as intended for when we have our org meets and not having to rely on a third party like Discord. So my fingers are firmly crossed. Next question, will we hear debris hitting ships? And yes, after a ship explodes, you will hear various sounds based on your proximity to that ship. Quantum travel as a ship arrives sounds weird. Will it improve? They said this is on their radar and they have plans to make it sound good in the future. Will you create a voice command option for ships similar to how voice attack works? And they say, yes, this is in the backlog and has consistently been 2 years out from being worked on. They fully plan to create their own official voice command system, but priorities keep pushing it back, unfortunately, which will be great rather than having to use a third-party software. Not that there's anything wrong with the third-party software, but having their own built by the people making the game will be much better. And then finally, the last question is any updates on text-to-speech? They said it's moving along well. They are setting up some research soon to push forward on it, and they do see it as a very important feature to get in. So that was Star Citizen Live this week. Actually a really good show. Great hearing about all of these plans for so many different systems, and I'm very happy to hear that they have been improving VoIP. But with that said, let us move on. So, CitizenCon 2951 has been announced, and due to COVID, CIG have decided to make it a digital CitizenCon, which I personally feel is the best approach at this moment. So the date for the digital CitizenCon 2951 is October 9th, and although they say they're not ready to share specific details of the event, they do say that we can expect a full day of events, panels, and entertainment, including the cosplay contest, with a tagline reading, "It promises to be out of this world, or perhaps out of this system." So to me, it sounds like we may be seeing a properly fleshed out Pyro system for the first time, which if that's the case, it'll be very exciting. Now it also mentions there will be some exciting opportunities for us to be a part of the show and to keep an eye on Spectrum for more information as we get closer to the day. So also this week, the Squadron 42 monthly report was reposted to Spectrum, but don't worry, I have linked my video coverage of this report in the description below. And this week's lore post is part 1 of a short story called A Gift from Baba. So that brings us to the end of the show. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also, I am able to do this thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. If you appreciate what I do and would like to help make it even better from as little as $1 a month, all of the links are provided below.